So what is a hotel collaboration? Let's get right into it. A hotel collaboration is simply an exchange of services, goods, skills for a free hotel stay. This is how you see people online staying at these amazing resorts, shooting all this incredible content, and you're wondering how can they afford it. As someone who's done this before, I can tell you it's a lot simpler than it seems, and it's for a lot more people than just influencers and photographers. Of course, as a photographer, I'm going to focus this video on how to do hotel collaborations as a photographer, but I want you to know that if you're a beginner or you have other skills, this can be for you as well. So who can do hotel collaborations? Well, essentially anybody can. Like I said, a hotel collaboration is an exchange of skills for a hotel stay. So what you want to think about is, what can you give in exchange to receive the free hotel stay? And of course, most people assume that you have to have a following, you have to be an influencer or a famous person in order to do this. And that's not necessarily a wrong way to go about it. Of course, people that have an audience have something very valuable to offer to hotels. If they have 2, 4, 5 million followers, they can promote a place for them. And for the hotel, it's cheap advertising. Back in the day, hotels would have to purchase spots on TV, they would have to print ads in magazines, they would have to do placements in movies. Nowadays, hotels get to access advertising for a fraction of the cost by literally letting people just stay for free. Yes, if you're Kim Kardashian, you can stay anywhere you want, but it isn't only for people with that level of fame. A lot of hotels look for partnerships that are beneficial to them in different ways than just publicity. So if you don't have an audience, what else can you offer? Of course, as a photographer, photos. Hotels need photos. Every business in the world needs photos. So think about this. For a hotel to hire a photographer, to produce a shoot, to create the images, it's going to be a very, very expensive thing. If instead they can just offer you accommodation, and for the price of a night, which for them, of course, is not really money spent because they already have the room, they can get photos and promotional material in exchange. It is a win-win. So stop thinking about the collaboration in terms of the value and the cost of that hotel room per night, and realize that for a hotel, it is better to give up a night where they could potentially rent it out than having to hire someone to shoot content. With that in mind, when you're a photographer, what you're offering is your skills and not your audience. So don't think that a collaboration is only for influencers or photographers with a following. When I do collaborations, I more often than not only pitch my photography services. I prefer to offer them a great package of photos and videos rather than promoting on my socials. Although I have a channel and I have about, at this point, 21,000 followers, I don't feel my audience is necessarily always engaged. I don't know what the algorithm is gonna do, and I just don't know that my audience is interested in hotel stays. So rather than promoting something I don't feel comfortable with promising, I know I'm an amazing photographer and that they're gonna be blown away by the work I create, so I feel much more comfortable offering that as a collaboration. For anyone else who's not a photographer or an influencer, there are other things you can offer. Think about your skills and what you can do, and think about a hotel that could be benefiting from that. I have friends who offer social media services, marketing services, and I've even thrown in a Google review or a TripAdvisor review, a written piece, anything you can think of that could add value. That is a great skill that you can trade for a night of stay. So who can do hotel collaborations? Anyone who has a skill that can be exchanged. Why to do a hotel collaboration? Well, of course, needless to say, to avoid paying for your nightly stay. I do a lot of traveling, sometimes months at a time, and you can imagine if I'm moving and on the go and paying $100 to $200 a night in hotels, that adds up pretty quickly. So for me, doing hotel collaborations is a great way to minimize my cost of travel, and oftentimes it is reduced to just the money spent on the flight. Of course, this means I'm gonna be working, but this is the other reason why I do it. I actually love it, and I love growing my portfolio, and I love using different locations for my shoots. So I try to travel with a model or with a friend who's also a photographer, and I create content that is good for me as well. So it's like double dipping. I'm creating the content for the hotel to get my free stay, and I'm also doing these images for myself because I had to do them anyway. Of course, you want to do a collaboration if you want to build your portfolio or build your experience, And if you are not ready to start asking for money for that kind of work, it is a great way to practice the skills and start developing them in that specific niche. Needless to say, this video is about hotel collaborations, but collaborations go beyond just hotels. If you're interested in knowing more about that, I've created another video about doing collaborations as photographers, how to do them, why is it worth it, and how to go about them. So the million-dollar question, how to do it? It's actually quite simple. The very first thing you want to do is figure out where you're going. Once you have your destination, you want to do some research and create a list of potential places that you want to collaborate with. Now, the way I do it is I start at the top. I start with 5-star resorts, luxury resorts, beautiful hotels, and try reaching out to those first. If no one says yes, then I move on to 4-star. If no one says yes, then I move on to 3-star. It really depends where you're going. I'll be totally honest with you. It is so dependent on time of the year, season, and however many collaborations the hotel has done so far. If you're gonna try to get a hotel collaboration in Paris in the middle of the summer, good luck, it's not gonna happen. This is why a lot of influencers, photographers, and well-traveled people actually prefer to travel in shoulder season or off-season, because not only it's quieter and there's less people, you have a higher chance of a hotel saying yes. Think about it, for them to give up a potential sale and a potential room to a paying client and give it to you instead, it is much better to do that in an off-season than in a high season, because in high season, they have a much bigger chance of selling that room. So with that in mind, step number 1, where are you going? Step number 2, create a list of all of the hotels that you want to collaborate with, that you potentially want to try. Step number 3, look them up online, go on their website and find the best email. Any email that you can find for them is okay. And on that note, quantity over quality. I know this is not what you want to hear, but it is all a numbers game. You're not going to send 3 emails and get a yes. You're going to send 300 emails and maybe get a yes. It's just the rules of the game. The better your portfolio, the higher your influence, or the bigger your reach, or the better your offer, the higher chances of someone saying yes. So if you combine your offer with the time of the season, your possibility of getting a yes and a no will completely change. Don't jump to the conclusion that you're doing something wrong, that your work is not good enough, or that it's simply never going to happen. Just know that it takes a lot of no's before it takes a yes. So once you have your destination, you have your list of places, and you have your emails, it is time to send the email out. What do you want to put on this email? Don't bother with too much detail, that will come after, but simply put in terms of collaboration, and that you want to exchange your services as a photographer or your skills as a photographer in exchange for a 2 or 3 night stay, whatever it is that you want to get, and see if they're interested. Make sure to always attach your portfolio to the email. And that is the last step and the last thing I want to talk about today, and that is building your portfolio. Like I always say, if you've seen any of my other videos, in order to get the work that you want to get, you first got to create it. So before you can reach out to a hotel and ask for a collaboration, you better have some hotel work to show. So how to get some hotel work to show? Go shoot at hotels. Pay for a stay or 2, bring your camera whenever you go on holidays next, even reach out to hotels in your city and ask if you can come take some photos for free and let them use them, and create a little portfolio with the best work that you have. The more that you do this and the better your work gets, the better your portfolio is going to get. But once you have a portfolio that is dedicated to show hotel and travel and destination photography, now you're ready to send those emails. So just to recap how to do it, pick a location, make a list of potential hotels, pull the email from their website, create a template email where you introduce yourself and briefly explain the collaboration that you're proposing, and attach a killer kick-ass portfolio that shows how amazing you are. Rinse and repeat times 100 until you get a yes. So that's everything on hotel collaborations today. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, as always, I'm happy to answer. Please, if you like my channel, subscribe. It means the world to me. See you next time.